The night before our wedding, I walked into the kitchen and heard my fiancée tell her sister, after the honeymoon, I'm bleeding him dry, his money, his mind, everything. He's so in love, he'll never see it coming. Her sister snorted and said, don't forget to take the house. Make him watch you move on in it. I smiled and I quietly walked back upstairs. I didn't confront her, let her think she'd won. For 2 months, I planned in silence, collected proof, moved assets, set the trap, and then her world collapsed in court. NGL, this is probably the weirdest post I've ever made, and I know people on here are going to call BS or ask for receipts. But whatever, I just got to put this somewhere because I feel like I'm losing it a little. Like I'm in some weird simulation, and everyone else is just going along with it. So yeah, I'm Robert, 28M, and up until about 2 months ago, I thought I was about to get married to the love of my life, or at least someone who could tolerate my dumb jokes and would watch trash TV with me without rolling her eyes. Well, not too much. Her name is Evelyn, 27F, and we met at a paint and sip class that my mom dragged me to because my dad bailed last minute. So I ended up being the only guy there and kind of got adopted by this group of women who thought it was hilarious that I had no idea what I was doing. Evelyn was one of them. She roasted my painting so hard I actually thought she hated me. But I ended up liking her because she didn't act fake. And she asked me out first, which, respect. Anyway, fast forward, we date for a couple years, move in together, get engaged. Her family's kinda intense about weddings, her sister Kylie especially, but I figured that was just how it is. Everything seemed chill, like we had little fights, who doesn't? But nothing wild. She was always talking about our future and making plans, but I thought she just wanted to be organized, or maybe she was just anxious. My parents liked her enough. Her mom was kinda overbearing, but never did anything crazy to me, so I just let her do her thing. But there were a couple weird things the month before the wedding. Mostly money stuff. Like, she'd get annoyed if I didn't want to talk about merging our accounts right now, or she'd make jokes about how at least one of us will be responsible with finances. I did notice she was weirdly interested in my banking app sometimes, like if I was sending a payment for something, she'd want to see the screen. I brushed it off because IDK, maybe she was just anxious about wedding expenses and TBH. Her family kinda acted like money was a taboo subject, but also obsessed over it. IDK how to explain, but if you know, you know. So anyway, night before the wedding, we're at my parents' house because they live closer to the venue. And it's just chaos, people everywhere, catering people in and out. Her sister Kylie is there, of course. My folks are arguing over the playlist. It's just a mess. I can't sleep, so I go downstairs to get a drink and I hear voices in the kitchen. I recognize Evelyn's laugh and Kylie's voice, and I'm about to just walk in and say hi, but I hear my name, so I pause. Look, I know you're not supposed to eavesdrop, but if you hear your name, you stop. That's just human nature. I'm standing by the doorway, staying out of sight, and I hear Evelyn say something like, after the honeymoon, I'm bleeding him dry. His money, his mind, everything. He's so in love, he'll never see it coming. And Kylie, without missing a beat, is like, don't forget to take the house, make him watch you move on in it. And then she laughs, not like a joke, just kinda mean. I just stood there. I don't even think I was breathing. I don't know if they saw me, I don't think so, because they started talking about some friend who'd done the same thing, and how men are so easy if you just act like you care about what they say. I didn't go in. I didn't say anything. I just turned around, walked back upstairs, and just sat on the edge of the bed staring at my phone. Like, what the actual hell? I wanted to go back down and just confront her, but I couldn't. It wasn't even fear, it was just, I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of seeing me freak out. I just sat there thinking, nah, you're not getting off that easy. I barely slept, and when I did get up, I just acted normal. I know people are gonna say, why didn't you just break it off? But honestly, I wanted her to think she'd won. I wanted to see how far she'd go. I wanted her to get comfortable, to let her guard down. I figured if she was really gonna play me, I might as well see how deep the rabbit hole goes. The next morning, she's in full bridezilla mode, snapping at my mom, yelling at Kylie for messing up her hair. I make a joke about how at least she can't complain about the weather, and she just gives me this look, like I'm a child who won't shut up. I'm just thinking, okay, noted. My parents are both kinda like, what's up with you? You look like you haven't slept, but I just say I'm tired. My dad tries to get me alone, asks if I'm sure, and I just brush him off because what am I supposed to say? I just found out the woman I'm marrying is planning to bleed me dry, but let's go ahead and do this anyway. No one would believe me. Not with the way she acts in front of everyone. She's so good at flipping the switch, acting sweet and loving when anyone else is around. Wedding day is a blur. I don't even remember half of it. I do remember her sister Kylie making some comment about enjoying the honeymoon while it lasts. And when I looked at her, she just smirked. Even my cousin noticed. asked me if everything was cool between me and Kylie, which was hilarious because we have never gotten along, so of course not. There were moments where I wanted to just call it all off, just tell everyone what I heard, but I could see the way they'd look at me, like I was crazy, or making it up. The amount of gaslighting these two could do in a single conversation is honestly impressive, if it wasn't so disgusting. I didn't want to give them the chance to spin it, to make me look like the unstable one, the paranoid groom, so I played along. I even smiled for the pictures, let her squeeze my hand so tight my knuckles cracked. She was all over me in front of people, but as soon as we were alone, she just went cold. I asked if she was okay, and she just said she had a lot on her mind, then started scrolling her phone. I started paying attention to little things. She was always checking her phone, texting Kylie, stepping outside for calls. She'd come back in and act like nothing happened. Once, I came into the kitchen and she slammed the fridge shut, like I'd caught her doing something. I asked what was up and she just said she was looking for leftovers. My folks tried to get me to come over for dinner a few times after the wedding, and every time I suggested it, Evelyn would suddenly remember some errand she had to run, or she'd get into an argument with me about how we needed to focus on building our own life. It was always about control, now that I look back. Little digs about my parents, about how old-fashioned they are, or how I let them walk all over me. I pushed back a couple times, told her to knock it off, and she'd get mad and slam the bedroom door. Once she shoved past me in the hallway when I wouldn't move out of her way. I just stood there. Didn't give her the satisfaction of reacting. Kylie got even more involved, coming over every other day, always asking weird questions about our finances, or hinting that some people need to make sure they're protected in relationships. I just nodded, didn't give her anything, started keeping my phone on me at all times, made sure to log out of everything when I was done. I changed my passwords, started checking my accounts every night just in case. I know this probably sounds paranoid, but you'd be surprised what you notice when you stop trusting someone. All the little things add up. The way she'd ask if I'd gotten my new debit card. I hadn't mentioned it. Or how she suddenly wanted to sort through my important papers for organization. She'd get annoyed if I questioned, start a fight, slam a door, then act like nothing happened the next day. I kept telling myself, just hold out. Don't tip your hand. Let them think you're blind. Let them keep digging their own graves. I started writing everything down. Even the little stuff, just in case. I figured if I was going to go down, I wasn't going to go down alone. I wanted proof. I wanted her to see that I wasn't as dumb as she thought. So yeah, I guess that's where I'm at now. I know some people are going to say I should have just left, but that's just not me. I'm not letting someone play me and walk away smiling. She wanted to bleed me dry? We'll see who ends up empty-handed. Part 2 is coming, if anyone's interested. This isn't even the worst of it. Update 1. Alright, here's Part 2. And sorry it took a bit. Appreciate the DMs, and yeah, I'm still pissed. So weird how I'm typing this out like it's some true crime podcast, except there's no dead body, just a dead relationship. Anyway, so after that night where I heard the whole bleed him dry thing, see my last post if you want the context. I know some people would have gone full soap opera and started flipping tables or whatever, but that's not really my style. I just kept my mouth shut, let her have her moment. I guess she thought I was just dumb or oblivious, which is honestly hilarious if you know me at all. But whatever. She wanted to play games. Okay, let's play. The actual wedding day was just weird. Not dramatic, not a big scene, just off. I kept waiting for her to maybe show some sign she actually wanted to be there, but she was all about the photos, the flowers, the playlists, the hashtags. She was glued to her phone most of the morning, barely looked at me. I remember her sister Kylie pulling her aside before the ceremony and whispering something. I caught a bit of it. Mostly just her saying, "Keep your head on straight. Stick to the plan." I stood there, pretending to mess with my tie, just listening. The ceremony went off. I kept thinking, do I just bail? But no. I honestly wanted to see what she'd try to pull once she thought she'd locked me in. I'd rather see the playbook, not just the highlights. The next week was a mess. Everyone's texting, asking how the honeymoon is. Are we loving married life and all that fake social media stuff? But at home, it's awkward. She's suddenly pushing for us to move all our money together. Like every other day, she's asking if I've set up the joint everything yet. She's acting like it's just what couples do, but she's way more intense than before. And she keeps dropping these little comments about how her friend's husband just handled all the paperwork for them, and how it was such a relief not to have to worry about bills. I tell her I'll get to it, but she keeps circling back, getting snippy. One night she shoved a stack of envelopes at me and said I was making her anxious, and then slammed the bedroom door. Funny thing, my parents start noticing too. My mom calls me, says she gets the sense something's off with Evelyn. My dad's more blunt. He just says, if you're not happy, don't be an idiot and pretend you are. But I don't tell them why. It sounds crazy out loud. How do you say, hey, I heard my new wife plotting with her sister to ruin me? But don't worry. I'm just gathering evidence. Meanwhile, Kylie is basically living at our place, I swear. She's there every night after work, talking loud, leaving her stuff around, and always finding some way to bring up protection in relationships. So obvious it's embarrassing. She'll see me and ask if I've got my paperwork sorted out yet, with a little smirk. Once, when I said I'd handle it, she rolled her eyes and said, "Hope you're not dragging your feet. Some people actually need to feel secure." I wanted to tell her to get out, but I just said maybe she should focus on her own life for a change. I started noticing Evelyn was acting weird about my phone. I'd come into the kitchen and she'd be right near it, then act like she was looking for her charger. Once I caught her looking at my messages, I just said, "What are you doing?" And she just shrugged, said she thought it was hers. Then she pushed past me and slammed the pantry door. She doesn't even try to hide it, honestly. Here's where it got wild. One night, I log into my email and see a new device notification. I ask her about it. She says she got a new tablet and needed my login for Netflix. I tell her, "You don't need my email for that," and she just shrugs and says, "I'm making a big deal out of nothing." I don't push it, but I start changing passwords on everything, writing stuff down on a notepad I keep in my sock drawer. I start carrying my phone everywhere, even into the bathroom. She notices and starts making jokes about me being secretive, but I started quietly taking photos of stuff around the house, receipts, her mail, even the way she sets up her laptop facing away from me every time she's doing work. I know it sounds paranoid, but if you'd heard what I heard, you'd do the same. Oh, and one night, we're watching TV and she gets a text and I see her glance at me before quickly swiping it away. I ask who it is and she says it's Kylie, but the way she says it is just off. So I start paying attention. She's getting more and more defensive, picking fights over nothing. I tell her I want to go see my parents and she says we need to focus on building our own home. When I say it's just dinner, she gets mad and storms into the bedroom, slams the door, and I hear her on the phone with Kylie, whispering. There's this one night where she's actually crying, says she feels like I'm shutting her out. I just look at her and say, "What do you want me to do?" She says she wants me to trust her. I tell her I do, but I'm just overwhelmed. She says if I really loved her, I'd put her name on the house just to make her feel safe. I laugh and say, "Isn't marriage enough?" She pushes my shoulder and walks away, calls me selfish. Meanwhile, my parents keep asking if we're coming over for the weekend. I say maybe. Evelyn says no. She's got plans. Then accuses me of caring more about my family than her. We get into it, voices raised, and she slaps my arm, tells me to grow up. I tell her to stop acting like she owns me. She pushes past me again. I start recording some of these conversations just on my phone. Nothing fancy. I just want something real, not just my word against hers. I save screenshots of texts I catch from Kylie. All this stuff about making things official and don't let him stall. I start a folder, password protected. The more I stall, the more aggressive she gets. She leaves a pile of paperwork on the table, all highlighted, with sticky notes saying urgent. When I leave it there for a week, she blows up, says I'm trying to ruin her life, accuses me of being controlling, even though she's the one who keeps pushing. I tell her to chill, and she starts crying again, says she can't talk to me when I'm like this. She slams the bathroom door and locks herself in for an hour. Kylie starts texting me directly, saying she's worried about her sister, wants to know if I'm committed. I don't answer. She shows up at our place and starts yelling about how I'm making everything worse. I tell her to get out, and she shoves my shoulder, says I'm not the man she thought I was. I tell her to stay out of my... She laughs and says, maybe I should have thought about that before marrying Evelyn. This is where it really started to click. They both just expect me to roll over and do what they want. I realized they don't even care about hiding it anymore. Maybe they think I'm too in love or too weak or just too dumb to do anything about it. I honestly think Evelyn just wants the house because she knows how much it means to me. My folks helped with the down payment. It's the only real thing I've worked for that's mine. She doesn't care about it. She just wants to win. So I've started moving pieces around. Nothing illegal, nothing wild, just being careful. I've got my own plan now, and I'm not letting her see it coming. I'm not the guy who just walks away and lets people walk all over him. She wanted to bleed me dry. Let's see how she handles being cut off. Next part's gonna be where things actually start moving. I'm not holding back. If she wants war, she's got it. Update 2. So here we go, part 3, where stuff really started getting real. I'm still a little shaky typing this TBH, not because I'm scared or whatever, just, you ever hit that point where you know you're not backing down, like you're not just gonna roll over and take it anymore? Yeah, that was me, finally. So it's maybe 3 weeks after the wedding and a bunch of little things just keep piling up. It's not even dramatic at first, just weird. Like I come home one night and my laptop's open, which I never do, and she's like, oh, I needed to check my email, mine was dead. But then she's all weird about plugging it back in. I just nod, but I start locking it up in a drawer after that. She makes a comment about how I'm getting paranoid and says if I have nothing to hide, Why am I acting so sketchy? I just laugh it off, but inside I'm thinking, you want to see sketchy? I can do sketchy. I start moving my money around. Not all at once, just little transfers here and there. I open a new account at a different bank, set up two-factor everywhere, set the statements to paperless. I start making copies of everything, old texts, emails, even the receipts she left in the trash. She catches me snapping a pic of some bill and says, "What? You think I'm gonna rob you?" And I just say, "Nah, I just finally got around to organizing my stuff." She acts annoyed but doesn't push it. She's getting more aggressive at this point, more desperate. She starts nagging me to sign all these documents she printed out, says it's just to save us time in the future. All couples do this. I'm making things harder than they need to be. I tell her I'll get to it when I can, and she gets mad. Says I don't trust her, says I'm disrespecting her and her family. She slams the drawer shut and storms out. I hear her on the phone with Kylie, complaining that I'm dragging my feet and asking what to do next. I start getting texts from Kylie too, like she's suddenly my mom or something. She says I need to step up, asks if I even know what commitment means. I just ignore. One day she shows up while I'm home alone and tries to corner me in the kitchen. Says I'm ruining Evelyn's life, says I'm acting like a child, says maybe I'm not ready for a grown-up relationship after all. I tell her to leave. I'm not talking to her without Evelyn there, and she slaps the countertop and storms out. She slams the door so hard a picture falls off the wall. I start playing the dumb husband role on purpose. I ask Evelyn dumb questions about bills, act like I don't understand how the mortgage works, fumble around with my phone when she's watching. She starts getting impatient, starts raising her voice, says I'm useless with money and maybe she should just handle it all. I say, sure, when you show me how you handle your own. She snaps back that she's not the one with secrets. I just say right and walk out. There's this one night. I come home and she's crying on the phone to her mom saying I'm making her miserable, says she doesn't know why I'm acting like. I just set my keys down and go to the bedroom. She follows me in and shoves my shoulder, says I need to grow up and stop embarrassing her. I tell her to get out of my face. She calls me an a-hole and slams the door. My parents are still in the picture, by the way. My mom's texting me every day, asking if I'm eating, if I'm okay, if I need to come over. I keep saying I'm fine, but she knows I'm lying. My dad tells me just don't let her steamroll, says don't put your name on anything she's pushing, says he's seen people lose everything by being nice. He doesn't know the half of it, but I listen. Evelyn keeps pushing the house thing. She wants her name on the title. Says it's only fair, says she's my wife now and it's our home. I tell her hell no, not happening, and she loses it. She starts yelling. Says if I loved her, I'd want her to feel secure. Says I'm treating her like a roommate. I tell her she's acting like a squatter. She throws a pillow at me, says I'm being cruel. I start seeing more of the cracks between her and Kylie. They're not even hiding their fights anymore. One night I hear them in the backyard arguing. Kylie's saying she's not getting what she was promised. Evelyn's telling her to shut up because I might hear. Later, Kylie comes in and gives me a look like I'm dirt. She asks if I'm happy making Evelyn suffer. Says maybe I should just sign the paperwork and stop being a jerk. I record all of this. I record every conversation, every fight, every time they mention money or the house or the plan. I keep the files in a locked folder on a USB drive I hide in the laundry room. I know it sounds insane, but at this point I trust no one. Evelyn tries to play nice for a little while, brings me coffee, tries to act like nothing's wrong. But she slips up. She leaves her phone open on the table and I see a text from Kylie. If he doesn't sign by Friday, we do it your way. I screenshot that. She comes in and snatches her phone, says I'm being nosy, says I'm paranoid. I tell her maybe she should have better passwords. The next morning, she's cold again. She asks me if I'm cheating on her, says maybe that's why I'm being so defensive. I laugh. Tell her I don't have the energy to cheat. I'm too busy dodging her paperwork. She shoves past me, says I'm impossible, says maybe we should just get divorced if I hate her so much. I just look at her and say, if that's what you want, let's do it. She looks stunned for a second, then acts like she's the one in control. Says fine, but she's taking everything she's owed. I say good luck with that and walk out. Here's the thing. I've got everything lined up. I know exactly what they're doing. And I'm done playing along. I've got proof. I've got my assets safe. I've got my own lawyer lined up, not some friend of a friend. Just someone from a boring Google search, nothing flashy. I'm not stupid enough to let them see what's coming. I call my dad and tell him I might need some help moving stuff. He just says, whatever you need, let me know. I tell him I'm serious this time. He says, I believe you. The last straw comes when I get a letter in the mail from a lawyer, her lawyer, not mine, saying I need to voluntarily add her to the deed or they'll pursue legal action for emotional distress. I read it twice, then laugh. I show it to my dad. He just shakes his head, says some people have no shame. I tell Evelyn I got her letter. She says good. Now I know she's serious. I say yeah, I do. She tries to hug me. All fake tears, says she doesn't want to fight, says she just wants to feel secure. I push her away, tell her to stop pretending. She slaps my face and storms out. I don't even react. I spend the rest of the week getting all my files in order, making sure everything is copied, double-checked, secure. I talk to my lawyer, show him what I've got. He says, "This is solid. You're fine." I say, "I know. I'm not dragging this out any longer. Next step is court. I'm not backing down. I'm not giving her a dime more than she deserves." Last part is coming. If you think I was angry before, just wait. Final update. All right. So here's the end of this saga, or whatever you want to call it, since a bunch of you DM'd to ask what happened after I got those threats about the house. Honestly, it's wild how much can change in just a few weeks if you stop acting like a doormat and start treating people exactly how they treat you. So after that letter from her lawyer, I stopped pretending. I started sleeping on the couch, barely even looking at Evelyn. My parents kept inviting me over, and honestly, I started going just so I could breathe. I'd leave my phone off at their place, just sit in the backyard with my dad, not even talking about any of this, just existing. My mom would ask if I wanted to talk, and I'd just shake my head. She didn't push. She just made sure I ate something. I guess that's what family's for at the apartment. Everything was tense. Evelyn started getting up earlier than me, which she never did before, and she'd leave the apartment for walks but come back with nothing. Sometimes Kylie would be waiting outside in her car, like they thought I wouldn't notice. They'd sit out there for ages. I caught them once by the mailboxes, talking in these fake low voices about timelines and not letting him stall anymore. I just kept walking like I didn't care. I guess they really thought I was just going to roll over. I stopped playing nice. Every time they tried to corner me about the house or accounts, I just said, "Not happening." Once, Kylie tried to block the door when I was leaving for groceries and asked if I was running away from my responsibilities. I just told her to move. She shoved me. I shoved her back, and she kind of laughed like she thought it was a joke. I just walked past her and slammed the door. Evelyn tried to push more paperwork at me, all highlighted with sticky notes. She started threatening to go public about how emotionally abusive I was if I didn't make her co-owner. That's when I realized she'd already started telling her side of the story to her friends and her mom. I got a text from her mom asking why I was being so cold and breaking her daughter's heart, like I was the one who changed. I just said, "Ask your daughter what she's really after." Blocked her after that, so I finally set the court stuff into motion. I went to my lawyer with every screenshot, every recording, every text about bleeding me dry, and taking the house. I laid it all out. The lawyer didn't even look surprised, just said, "All right, this is more than enough." We filed for divorce and served Evelyn at the apartment on a Tuesday morning. She tried to slam the door in the process. The process server just stuck the envelope in the door frame and left. Kylie was there, of course, and started yelling that I was a coward. I just grabbed my keys and left from my folks' place. It was honestly just a blur after that. Her lawyer started sending these aggressive emails saying I was hiding assets, saying I was being vindictive. My lawyer just replied, "Here's the evidence. Here's all the accounts. Everything's documented." Didn't even need to bluff. Every time they pushed, I just sent more screenshots. Every time they tried to get sympathy from friends, I just ignored it. A couple mutual friends texted me asking if I was okay, saying they heard crazy stuff. But when I offered to show the receipts, most of them got quiet real fast. The court date was the first time I'd seen Evelyn actually panic. She showed up all put together, but as soon as my lawyer started laying out the timeline and evidence, she started shifting in her seat. Her lawyer kept trying to spin it, saying I was controlling, but the judge just looked at the texts and asked why she'd say she was bleeding me dry if she was scared of me. Kylie tried to speak up at one point, and the judge told her to sit down. I stared straight ahead the whole time. I didn't even look at them when the ruling came. The judge basically said the prenup stands. No co-ownership, no claim to the house, no claim to any of my accounts. She gets what she brought in, and nothing else. Judge said something about bad faith and intent to defraud. She started crying, tried to get up and leave, but her lawyer just sat there looking like he wanted to crawl under the table. Kylie stormed out and slammed the door. I didn't even move after Evelyn tried to talk to me in the hallway. She started out all sad, saying she just wanted a chance to explain. That she was under pressure. It was all Kylie's idea. I just told her I didn't care. She reached for my arm. I stepped away and told her to get her stuff out by the end of the week. She tried to argue, saying she had nowhere to go. I just kept walking. She called after me, but I didn't turn around moving. Day was awkward. She had Kylie help her. They barely spoke to me. Kylie glared, tried to start something, but my dad was there and just stood in the doorway. I watched them pack up, didn't say a word. Evelyn tried one last time to say, maybe we could work something out. Maybe we could just forget the past few months. I just said, you made your choice. She slammed the door when she left after that. I just blocked both of them everywhere, changed the locks. My mom came over to help clean up after they left. She didn't say much, just wiped down the counters and told me to buy new towels. My dad just said, good job, then made coffee and turned on the game like nothing happened. Not gonna lie, I'm not celebrating. It's not like I won anything. I just didn't lose. I still get texts from some mutual friends who think I was harsh. I just reply, hope you never have to deal with this. Most back off after that. I'm not bothered. Guess the wildest part is she really thought I'd just let it happen. She never thought I'd fight back. Never thought I'd protect myself. I get why she did it. She wanted the house, the money, the bragging rights, the story where she's the one in control. Maybe she thought I was just like her dad who just lets her mom run everything. IDK. Maybe Kylie hyped her up. Maybe she got greedy. Maybe she just never cared in the first place. Doesn't matter now. So yeah, that's it. No inspiring message, no wise advice, just don't let anyone walk all over you. Being angry isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it's the only thing that keeps you from losing everything. If you got this far, thanks for reading. I'm not looking for sympathy, just wanted it out there, I guess.